Johnny the goalkeeper coach?
I used to be. We actually have a goalkeeper coach this year, but he didn't make it out, so I'm taking my old position back again.
So we're at 1-2, start of the second half. And the boys had a little chat with Bear at halftime, and looking at a little bit of a changed lineup, going 3 defenders with Pauly, Jaime, and Jesus, pushing Edwin up on the right, and then you have 4 across the middle and 3 up top. That's a good ball into Jorge, easy touch. Jorge looking to get back in, holding it, and Edwin supporting. Edwin still supporting behind. And a quick restart? No, a quick restart. Just a free quick. And Jaime making his way forward. It would be a good response right out of the first minute or two here to take what Bear talked about. And a lot was talked about just making sure the spaces are used on the sides and to not lose our heads. To keep in mind that the game is to be played on the field and not inside people's heads. Jesus with a little ball inside, flicked away by Lake Stevens. Andres.
Nice little touch outside, and he gets to keep it. 3 defenders trying to lock him down out there. I don't blame him.
It's a bit of a Houdini right there as he gets out of that.
Ooh, but Dakota up top with the ball.
Jesus.
Slight reset in the back.
Quick one touch out to Edwin, and that's a good way to play too, is to quick little ball, back post, and just enough. And a fantastic little touch there by their keeper. But finding some success, Mount Vernon with a quick one touch from Jesus to Edwin opened up some spaces. A change in keeper as well for Mount Vernon as Amador comes in for Renee. Jesus.
Defending in groups now, very interesting there. I think Lake Stevens came out in the different formations too. They have a lone forward with
Marco
3,
with a little pace.
With 3 withdrawn forwards who are causing a little havoc in our back line.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, 1-3-1-4. That'd be right.
Yeah, no, that's a.
Is that enough, or is that 1-3-2-4?
It's interesting that they're coming out with that formation ahead of goal.
Mm-hmm. And the counter is on for Lake Stevens. Oh, and Jonathan with an important touch. Andres
able to turn on the ball. Ooh, turns again. Shake and bake there.
Johnny. Andres. Edwin. And a quick one touch. The quick one touches are certainly helping. Dakota stepping in.
Great hustle there by Dakota.
Jorge. And not easily handled.
I almost just said out loud it's going to be difficult to cheat this keeper because of his height, but easily forgot the first goal was a lovely chip of the keeper.
Mm-hmm. Pushing Jorge out to, or Javi out to the left, and Edwin to the right here has put a little more emphasis on getting crosses in. Both of those players on the sides where their preferred foot would be able to easily swing balls in. Dakota. And obviously one of Lake Stevens' plans, and any team playing Mount Vernon, would be to find ways to minimize the strengths of Mount Vernon, and that would be Dakota and Andres to a great extent.
Ooh. Some frustration maybe boiling over from the first half. Player yelling at the ref. Ref going over just to have a word, say, hey man, there's a lot of game left, you know? Stay in it. There's no need.
And again, some of the Lake Stevens coaches losing their minds.
Calmly playing through the midfield right now. Dakota looking down the right side, an aggressive ball. Edwin unable to get the ball back into play.
But stretching the back line, and that's an important ball to just occasionally do.
I grew up with a creek behind my house, so it reminds me of my home. Johnny taking the ball down the field, challenging Lake Stevens to defend him. Interesting movement. There seems to be a diagonal moving up the field for the Bulldogs.
And that's a possession ball right there. That's fantastic. Just keeping it. Edwin coming in. And a little flick and hopeful. Jaime pushing him back. And there's the standard ball that comes through.
Ooh, nice little flick by Lake Stevens player. Ooh, Edwin's got to be careful twice now. Referee electing not to do anything there. Ooh, yeah, there's some, it's definitely getting some late hits in there from both sides of the field. This could be ugly. This could end ugly.
Yeah, calmer heads prevailed, certainly. Johnny.
With the deflection off the Lake Stevens player on the far side. Bulldog throw-in.
Andres with some space inside.
That's calling that is hopeful. Ooh, and there again with an absolutely disgusting hit. I don't think the referee blew his whistle on that.
He did not.
That's an escalating foul right there.
Right, and we have a run at state just ahead of us, and he needs to be aware that we have some boys that need to be protected to a certain degree. Not superstar kind of calls, but certainly want to protect kids, given that there's really nothing at stake in this in terms of seeding for Mount Vernon. Andres finding a gap. Javi. Andres. Johnny.
Those
Dakota.
long floating crosses are difficult.
Edwin shoots and does not get a hold of that.
But that's like, I think, the third long hanging cross we've had this half, and it's just difficult for Mount Vernon boys to play that kind of soccer where we're lacking the height and the physical presence up top. Quite the ballad that the frogs behind us are playing right now. Lovely. The baritone could use some work, I think.
Edwin. It's a good ball right there, and Jorge overruns it. Jaime, cool as can be. Edwin.
Edwin looking for options. Maybe a little too long. Interesting spaces and gaps in the field right now that are just being left. It's kind of like seeing ripe fruit on an apple tree and you just want to pick it, you know? Kind of like a good zit on the face too, you know? You just want to...
Andress. And this is where you would like to see a ball over the top to Edwin. There it is. That's the ball, but just more. It's on. That's a good look. But you just want to exploit that. Jaime with an important challenge. And the counter is on though. As soon as the ball comes in, Lake Stevens finds they collapse together very well. Edwin. You want to see Edwin get there's a good ball and a little flick. And just not quite, but a good effort. And a good run by Jorge. Andress with the control, stripped. Dakota.
Ooh, Andreas with a beautiful stick in. Marco trying to turn the ball. Unlucky to get that first touch around the defender. Ooh, and a through ball to Lake Stevens now. Don't know quite what he was thinking on that one, but not running goal kick.
It's a bit like seeing the prettiest girl in the lunchroom and thinking, why not? I'm going to ask her out. He just took a shot. Didn't work out. And that ball, their left back has been able to control that. Jaime is going to nod this back to Amador simply. Pauly receives it and carries. Finds Andress. Under duress, keeps it. Stamnus. Edwin.
Just not connecting much. Ooh, contact there. I saw a contact there, and the ball in, and a beautiful tackle by Jesus. Jesus moving his feet well, like a Spanish dancer. Ooh la la.
Daniel Pauly having a chat with the AR, and that's something that I know that Bear had talked about at halftime, was to
keep it up, Ethan!
leave the crew in yellow alone, and it's tempting always. You know, you want to engage that, but you have to move on to the next play. Luigi up and moving. Jesus had a fantastic defensive effort there. Shot.
Oh, nice shot.
And Amador.
When coaches say move your feet, that's what they're talking about. What Jesus did, just really got his feet moving, and was able to dissect that attack.
Oof. Ball called out of bounds. Bit of a
Getting a little chilly out here on the far side of the field. That's cool.
You can see just in the background, you can see a little front coming in off the Puget Sound, and weather changing a little bit, it's a little cooler. Started about 68 degrees at game time. It's probably dropped 15 degrees since that time. We're now down to 25 minutes in the half. Edwin, Marco. Edwin, Marco. Edwin, Marco, and misplayed, and the chorus returns. Jaime, Jesus.
Lots of space on the far side of the field, and you got to see how Lake Stevens here is just absolutely collapsing this near side of the field. Oh, and there we go, finding space. Ooh, awfully ambitious.
Jorge with a shot from distance.
He wasn't even really on his feet when he took that shot. I'd much rather seen him play the ball out wide to space, maybe get some numbers up. Substitution here, Edwin coming off.
Comes off.
Luigi going to the left side of the field, and Javi coming to the right.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if we can get Javi a little bit more involved here.
Yeah.
Javi with his left foot going to be able to cut inside on the right side of the field.
Send him, send him, send him.
I'm not sure if Mount Vernon's change of. I'm not sure if Mount Vernon's change of formation to 3-4-3 has created more chances. It certainly has exposed some gaps in the back, and Lake Stevens was unfortunate not to get a little bit more on that one. But here we are, going in the other direction, and
ball kicked out by the Lake Stevens defender under pressure by Jorge there.
Ian Brown up and moving.
Looking for a new ball here. The Lake Stevens defender sent that one into orbit.
Throw in. Dakota. Dakota, Andres. Tight inside again. Javi. Change of direction, Johnny. And playing inside the numbers. It is so narrow. The channels are just narrow as all get out.
That's not an advantage there, I don't think.
No, Dakota taken down and referee said play on, but it continues to be tight. And after a non-call, he goes ahead and gives a 50-50 call to throw into Lake Stevens. And he's been consistent on that.
Sometimes it's hard, but you can't argue consistency. It truly is all you can ask for, right?
Dakota, Jesus making a good run.
Oh!
And again,
that's got to be.
It's unbelievable that there has not been a card shown. We're near many casinos around here. And you'd think that given that we would understand that cards are plentiful. And why not just go ahead and show him a yellow and give him a caution? No one's going to learn any lessons without the caution.
Interesting,
he's more concerned with the bickering that goes on than with the malicious play. And that's a good run. Give it to him.
Driven hard, but someone's got to elevate for that one.
Somebody's got to be hungry and get on the end of that.
The frogs seem to agree behind us.
And we're just about at the halfway point of the second frame.
Mount Vernon not really having a dangerous opportunity yet. Not a couple of hard hits in the middle of the field without mention by the referee.
Luigi.
Mount Vernon pressing, forcing Lake Stevens to kick the ball out.
Good at that.
They're definitely in the right part of the field. Finding that last touch.
Dakota. Good hold-up play by Lake Stevens.
At some point, you got to show a card.
Now I don't understand all of being in there, and he is going to pull a card out, and he's finally shown one. Persistent fouling on the same player can lead to a card on anyone on the other team. Is that correct?
It's true, but it's really
Rarely.
it's undercalled, and I would think if you talk to anybody in the league, they would probably like to see more of that called. It's as a referee though, it's difficult to keep track of because usually you're looking at the aggressors, you're not looking at the victim, and it's something that referees are going to need a lot. You need a lot of training and a lot of deliberate practice to gain that.
Big ball by Jaime. And cleared.
Nice.
An important play. Jaime again, he's answered whenever necessary. And a good change of
lovely
direction.
little
Luigi
ball
into
here.
space. Luigi. Ooh. And there is a, I don't know if it's that there's under 20 to go, but there seems to be a love affair with shots from deep. And I would love to see us get to the end line and drop it back onto the penalty spot, between the penalty spot and the six box, or the goalkeeper box, and just have somebody just walk it in. Similar to what happened against Kamiak. Obviously different teams that were playing this evening, but the patience is not there so far. Marco. Jaime.
Not sure I agree with that call, but here I am in the stands, not on the field. So a Lake Stevens free kick.
My daughter is at Willamette University. She's studying sociology, and one of the things she's studying is implicit bias. Just an interesting thing to think about. And I think it's actually evident oftentimes.
Lake Stevens packing the far side of the penalty area. Expect some runs to the top of the key.
Big gap.
Ooh, there is so much space. Hungry Hippo's gonna collect. Oh. I'm not sure that touched anybody. I think that went straight in. Three Lake Stevens players could have touched it, but going straight into the goal there, the Mountain Vernon players looking a little confused.
And goal scored by your Viking number 7, Jacob Woodward, assisted by number 11, Ethan Ostowski.
That's a tough play to play man mark, you know?
Good job, boys! It was Ethan. Ethan scored. Jacob felt good. That's all right.
The mountain has gotten steeper here in the last 16 minutes. Bulldogs now looking to get 3.
Marco. Jorge.
And that is a no-no. That is a no-no. You do not slide into the keeper.
Slide into the keeper.
A bit of a frustration move maybe there. But this potentially could not be good for the Mount Vernon Bulldogs.
No, and obviously this videotape, there's a lot to be learned from this tape, and I think the boys will gain something, if nothing else, to learn something, just in terms of their comeback that's mounting, or in terms of being able to dig deep.
The assistant referee probably conferring with the head referee right now as to what kind of contact was made or not made. This would probably determine
And
the
a
severity.
yellow card has been shown.
Please fans, please watch the language in the stands, please. We are here to watch the gentleman out on the field. Thank you.
It seems like there's a little commotion going on in the stands as the announcer of the stadium is asking the fans to be civil, which it sounds like they are not being civil.
I couldn't hear anything from here. The people we're standing next to are awfully nice. The referee is. The clock continues to tick, so at the end of the game, there'll be injury time. A little concussion protocol going on right now, it looks like. Just checking to see if all the nerves are still functioning. And it's decision time. Do they pull the keeper? Or does he remain in the game?
Keeper warming up on the far left side of your screen. And it looks like the keeper showing off his ability to stay in the game.
And maybe there was more, there was less there than maybe was apparent.
Bear clarifying here if the keeper needs to sub with a hand injury, and I have to agree with the referees here. The keeper is exempt from that rule, as is the keeper exempt from other rules where a player has to leave the field. For a yellow card, for example, a keeper can stay on the field.
He's exempt from the being able to use his hands. Everybody else is not able to. He can. Andres. Luigi, Edwin with a drive. An important save. And he's been up to the task other than the one time. Drop kick. Dakota challenges.
Looks like a Lake Stevens player down with cramp.
Jesus.
Oh, beautiful play there. Oh, near post, but bending out wide for a goal kick. The referee is going to come over to attend to the downed player, Mount Vernon. Oop. Sure if I really like this idea of a Lake Stevens player coming over to the Bulldog sideline to come off the field, but
classic.
There's been a lot of time wasted here in the second half. It's going to be interesting to see how much time? How much time is going to be added on? A lot of action going down on the field.
Jaime.
Substitution for Mount Vernon. Jorge coming back on the field for Luigi.
Mount Vernon substitution, number 11, Jorge Rodriguez.
The game's not over.
Certainly not. I mean, lots can happen.
10 and a half minutes on the clock, but you got to believe there's got to be 5 minutes left added on.
Beyond that. Yeah, really just getting the first one, just to cut it down to one, will make a huge difference. The back line is not tidy. You know, it seems like there's something to be had there. Good touch there by Jorge. And it's going to be important for Jorge to keep his head, given that he's already on a card. Jonathan in.
Oh, foul. This is going to be an opportunity for the Bulldogs here. The The distance here is,
And the keeper off his line right now. Oh.
would you say shooting territory here?
Well, I liked what Lake Stevens did on their free kick, where they put it right into a gap that was really no man's land. So something similar would perhaps be good. That kind of that gap, when they're lining up, eerily similar. Can Mount Vernon find itself in there?
The referee walking off 10 yards. Looks like the boys in white were already there. Some activity on the far post. Ball in. Ooh. And a penalty.
Nice. Well, Dakota knocked down.
Wow. There's a lot of action going into the box right now. Things are hot and heavy in there.
7, who has been in the middle of lots, is very upset. Very upset.
Looks like Andreas is quickly and calmly stepped up to the plate here. This could be big. This could be a step forward towards the 3-goal that's needed. The referee having a conversation with a couple players on top of the 18. Notice the players on the D. Andreas, forward, left side of the goal, and the keeper guessing the wrong way. The Bulldogs trying to get the ball out of the net to have a sense of urgency. It looks like Dakota's having a few choice words with the Lake Stevens players. That can't be healthy. The referee conferring with the AR right now.
So 3-2, 8 on the clock. Unofficial time. And that's a good response. They've continued to battle. And a lot of chatting, a lot of bravado out there. The testosterone level is just high as a kite. Both hands in the back. Good tackle. Number 7 just got a card for his persistent yapping.
That's not a card that, as a coach, you want to see in a game. You know, completely
Number 7
avoidable.
continuing his. He just has continued that, and
The coach on the field, AR coming over, you have to wonder if there's going to be a little tacked on punishment here.
And that would be unfortunate for that young man, given that district playoffs is next week.
A lot of time taken up in this game. It almost makes me uncomfortable.
And you have lots of people standing on the field, essentially.
The referee now explaining to the coach, which in high school soccer, oddly enough, is allowed. The coach is permitted to have an explanation of the call, which is a weird rule. This is really inappropriate amount of time being spent on this, I feel. All right, well,
we're back at it.
We're back at it.
And 3-2 with 6 to go. And Dress on the ball. Similar spot. Drives it and just over the net. Goal kick. And the keeper taking no sense of urgency for him. I've always liked to see a change here in the rules of the game, where if you don't take a goal kick within 15 seconds, it becomes a corner. That's never going to happen, but I think it would be a fun little thing. Jesus, tough touch. Oh, Jesus. That's such quick feet. He's had a fantastic game. Johnny.
Maybe a little tug there. I can see that from up here. Ball quickly retaken. That you like to see the ball quickly retaken. It doesn't allow the players to chip. You know, gets the game going again, and the players need that. Lake Stevens in absolutely no hurry to get this ball restarted. You'd like to see a referee here encourage them to move a little bit more quickly.
Polly.
The Lake Stevens players, whenever the ball goes out, look like zombies.
Strange throw in.
Yeah. Mount Vernon trying to get the ball in quickly, a sense of urgency. Putting the ball out left.
Jaime. Marco.
Nice, Jason.
Good tackle there by Lake Stevens. Polly. Javi. Johnny.
Oh, great ball movement there.
Andres. Jesus. Dakota coming. Jesus. Johnny.
Oh wow, that's classless. You should never look at the fans, should you?
That's this kid. He's got something going on. He's Jaime, Dakota.
That's a good call. I like the delay there to see if there's an advantage.
Marco. And it's important not to get ahead of ourselves here. Play the game still. There's still some time. Go the other way. Jorge. Javi. Marco. Oh. And that just about got on by. That was a tense moment for the Stevens fans as they thought that might have been sneaking in. But good on that boy for being able to recover that. Dakota, Javi being strong. Jaime, Jesus, Paulie, Marco. Boom. I've seen better kickball. Used to be a PE teacher, and that's what it looks like sometimes out there, just a big boom. Marco, ball's on to Javi.
Oh, and going out for a corner kick, another opportunity here.
And obviously they're going to send people. Amador asking to go forward. Corner kick and dress on it. And just about everybody involved. Long ball. And Dakota had a free header and not able to put it on target. And looking for that end of game magic that we saw at Cascade. Five minutes left. Referee indicating 5 minutes.
Let's go, Lee!
Jorge putting a little bit of pressure on. The referee keeping track of the keeper as he runs to the opposite side of the goal box. Pauly with a touch and dress. Dakota. Jesus. Dakota. That must be just confusing as all get out for teams opposing Mount Vernon, that they just are always seeming to have men around the ball and just hammered Marcos from behind and a goal kick.
Goalkeeper kind of letting that one run a little bit.
And we're down to 4. Javi with lots of arms.
I believe there's a joke behind that chant.
Oof. Jorge needing to be careful.
Got to stretch that one out though.
Yeah, at this point in the season, I'm surprised we got people cramping up. It's a cool evening. It's not hot out here. Jonathan with a silly foul. No danger there. But Stevens 40 yards from frame, and just let them have that there. It's all right. Shot on goal.
A prayer there. Open up
Javi.
for a quick counter here.
Jaime. Dakota. Andres. Jaime surging forward. Too much. Got to get that ball into the mix. Ball's on. Edwin. Pauly. And we're about a minute, 2 minutes to go. Pauly with a long throw. Edwin just surging forward with it. Jorge with a touch. Jorge hungry.
Oh! And another
Goodness.
opportunity.
Goodness, that was late and
Is that 7 again?
I mean, if the referee were to watch this himself afterwards, I think he might be a little surprised at this. This is one of a few last chances. That was a wonderful clear and throw on Lake Stevens. Well, this will set up for a really interesting district tournament.
Yep, it will.
Lake Stevens will hope that they can find their way out of the pool play, essentially, and be able to get up and play against. Well, Dakota had a late hit there. Fans not happy about that. And they have people on the field. Things are really hot this evening. Jesus, Jaime, and they're going to need to get something into the box. Jaime. I want Edwin to give a long throw. And we are down to time. The full a save, and the referee has looked at his watch, and he has called it. And Mount Vernon loses.
Vikings defeat the Melbourne Bulldogs 3-2.
3-2, and a disappointing loss for the boys. And they will come back and
Please all spectators,
move on to districts. And that's it for me. I'm Bernd Strom.
And I'm Stephen Treff, and thanks for joining us. Hopefully you will be joining us for the districts, which are going to be, I don't know when the next game is going to be now.
They'll be playing next Thursday night for the district championship game.
Have a safe
Against Glacier Peak.
Thank you.
So,
Good night, and have a safe trip home.
all right, here we are at Lake Stevens High School. Sun is setting, and the boys are ready to go. Do you want to have anything to say to start off?
Yeah, I'm Bernd Strom, and it is a beautiful evening here at Lake Stevens High School in Lake Stevens, Washington. And you can see Glacier Peak off, or that's Mount Pilchuck off in the distance to the east. Sun setting to the west. The sun is going to be a factor this evening, at least in the first half, for our goalie. And starting goal tonight is Renee. And the back line, starting with the back four, you got Edwin, Daniel, Jaime, and Jesus. In the midfield, Dakota, Andres, Jonathan, and Javi. And up front, Marco and Luis. And a good change of direction right off the bat.
Important to note, the attitude in the locker room today was very much so go out and get them. They're not going to be letting down, and looking to really make a statement before districts.
Yeah, if things either a tie or a win, Mount Vernon would face Glacier Peak in the championship game at districts. If Lake Stevens were to get a result this evening, these two teams would face off next Thursday night in the championship game. So it's an interesting little matchup, a little cat and mouse, you can imagine. Lake Stevens has a lot to play for. They have the potential of getting into second place if Glacier Peak were to lose this evening to Kamiak.
Important to note that last time these two met was in Mount Vernon, and the final score was Lake Stevens 1, Mount Vernon 0 at the end of the second overtime.
Yeah, it was. I remember doing that game with you, Stephen, and it was quiet, awfully quiet there as that goal was pinched in late in the second period.
My son.
There we go. By number 11 for Lake Stevens. No, absolutely. Be proud of that. Oop, gotta get the camera going.
Polly.
I totally interrupted.
No, wonderful. That's what this is all
Dakota.
about.
You guys are like a newscast then.
Oh, we're having a blast.
Awesome. Is it live?
We wish. Sometimes it is. When it's a home game, it's live.
This is our third careers.
Yeah.
If the whole teaching thing doesn't work out. Renee, Polly, and talked about that last game, just that need to be really clean in the back. And Lake Stevens, different than Kamiak, is pressing much higher, and that's characteristic of a Lake Stevens team. They are filled with athleticism and heart. That comes down from the coaching staff from years and years. It's kind of in their DNA.
Noticing that because of that high pressure, there are some notable gaps in the field that are opening up, pockets of space. Lake Stevens, I've noticed, has shifts as a team, so this switching the ball could play a major role in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a very wide field. It's only 64 wide, and that always makes it a little bit more challenging for Mount Vernon. They like a bigger field. Jonathan, with one of his first touches, dances with the ball and finds Edwin. Edwin into Luigi, Jonathan.
Little ankle check there.
Yeah. Ooh, that could be easily.
Dakota, the ref allowing play to go.
The ball to Jonathan. Cross.
Ooh. The pitch, it plays like a carpet here at Lake Stevens,
Yeah.
so you're going to see a lot more bouncing in the ball. Difficult for the players to read and judge. That could sometimes play into some miscues by the players.
pretty soccer right now by the boys. Great bit of possession. Javi down the sideline, bringing it back to his preferred left foot. And I'm sure the league by now has a scouting report on Javi. He loves that left foot, and he puts it in front to Marco, and it sits in front Luigi, and just unable to get a hold of that. And Lake Stevens' keeper just took a deep breath.
That ball was bouncing in the box there for a while. Both teams are going to be upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
Keeper taking his time on the restart. Unfortunate.
Luigi.
Ooh, finding pockets of space on the outside.
Unfortunate. Looking at the league standings, Mount Vernon with 11 goals against is first in league in terms of goals given up. Just stingy defense and has played well thus far. Easy ball by Big Smooth, as usual. And Jesus on the ball. And just dancing a little bit right there. Oh, wonderful little give and go. Javi.
Bounds of space here on the left side. There we go.
Cross,
getting that
Jonathan.
ball to space. Mount Vernon players coming late on top of the box. Lots of space there. Let's see if Johnny can't find it. Ooh, lovely
Great
idea.
ball. Jesus into the mix. Dakota wanting that all along. He had in his mind, I'm going to shoot. And that ball just kind of checked up on him, and he still kept it in his mind and wasn't able to get a hold of that.
The sun setting now in the west. It's got to be difficult on those Bulldog players going to goal.
Mm-hmm.
The Lake Stevens definitely has the advantage on the side of half for this first half. All right.
A little, how's your mother? Not much there, but nevertheless, referee gave a little call. I did like earlier when he gave the advantage call to Dakota. Jaime, extremely strong. And this is the difference. Lake Stevens looking to get a quick little counter and unable to get it, but that is the danger always against Mount Vernon, is that teams hunker down. Fortunate ball there, Marco, Luigi.
Maybe a little too many touches there.
Luigi certainly enjoys touches on the ball.
There's about 10 to 15 yards of space between the back line and their defensive midfielders that Marco has set up camp in.
Yeah.
Looking for that ball.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, Lake Stevens electing to keep the our marking back, our outside marking backs unmarked.
Jaime. And you can hear the Lake Stevens keeper just barking, giving instructions, and it's always helpful to have someone in the back giving guys extra eyes as to what they want to do.
You know, it's been a while since we've had a very vocal keeper, and I kind of missed it.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those things you don't know that you miss until you don't have it.
Right? Andres, the magician on the ball, and plays safely to Jesus.
Ooh,
oh,
great,
hard tackle.
Great tackle there by Lake Stevens. And I think that's a symptom of not moving the ball quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to allow the Lake Stevens players to get into this game, that's how they're going to get in.
And speaking of being pinned in, Lake Stevens just finds itself pinned in. No need. Oh, let him. You kind of wish that the referee would let him play a little bit there. There's not much going on. It's not two-hand touch. Let's go ahead and go. This field has seen plenty of harder tackles than that, both in the fall and otherwise. This is a beautiful facility. It's arguably the best facility in the in Westco 4A.
I think without a doubt the most beautiful facility in Northwest.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, given some time, that you know, that $22 million renovation of Mount Vernon Football Stadium will be it'll be a sight to behold. I know Chris Oliver is working hard on that, and it'll be interesting to see how all that comes about with classrooms, housing a sports therapy program, and ball chipped in deep, and
getting past the outreached arms of Renee there, really beating the defender on the run.
That's a good ball, right in the middle of the box.
Assisted by
Sits
number
in
7,
there, kind of no man's land. Tough place for Renee to come get it.
Nice ball, Jake!
And you got a back line that was not hungry. But good test as usual for the boys. Down 1-0, 10 minutes in. Really the first opportunity for Lake Stevens, and they made the best of it.
I wouldn't be surprised here to see Mount Vernon respond within 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's good talk. There might have been a little wake-up call in the locker room before the game, and the boys were excited, thrilled to have already locked up the league, and they don't want to walk out of here with a loss. It would be disappointing.
So important to note that because Glacier Peak was awarded a 3 points for a Mariner forfeit, that Bulldogs must win tonight if they're going to clinch first place. A loss, a Bulldog loss and a Glacier Peak win would mean Mount Vernon is second.
Tell me more about this. I had not heard this.
So during the Glacier Peak Mariner game at Mariner, in the last minute of the game there was a red card and the refs were threatened by the Mariner players, and so the refs left and abandoned the game, and so the ADs got together and decided that as punishment Mariner should forfeit the game, so Glacier Peak was awarded 3 points.
It had been that Glacier Peak had lost that game.
Tied 1-1.
1-1, so they picked up 2 points.
They picked up 2 points.
When was this information put out
Yesterday.
there? My goodness. It's all that celebrating that we did the other night, all for naught at this point, but lots of time.
Lots of time left. Andreas finding space in Javi. Javi turning, finding Jorge. Johnny down the line. Johnny. Ooh, great touch by Johnny to keep it in play. Lake Stevens, though, unable to keep it in. Bulldog throw in. Ball back to Edwin. Edwin finding the far side of the pitch. Jesus to Javi. Javi trying to find the ball at his feet. Taking it to the corner, beats 2 Lake Stevens players, brings it back to the top of the 18. Dakota. Ooh. Lake Stevens playing very tight defense, bunkering everyone but one lone forward back. Interesting to note there on this last play, Lake Stevens, realizing that they were a goal ahead, have switched more to a bunker defense on that last play. They had 9 back behind the ball.
Well, regardless, they play in the district championship. Well, that's, I just am looking at the standings. Thanks, Stephen, for that information. I was unaware. And here comes Mount Vernon on the counter themselves. And it's important the boys just stay to the game, you know. It's a good ball. A lot of looking over at the referee to see what he might do, but there's nothing to be done. It's just good soccer right now. And there's that beautiful little clip in. Oh, Jonathan make that run, huh? You'd like to see Jonathan make that run down the wing and pull that defender out.
As I noted earlier, Lake Stevens now putting 9 behind the ball, and Edwin, or was that Andreas?
No, that was Edwin.
Edwin maybe a little ambitious with that last shot, but definitely the urgency is being felt on the field.
Well, you know, the other day, Seattle Sounders, LAFC, sometimes you put that ball on frame and a keeper just doesn't quite get a hold of it like we want. And Stephen Fry, you know, legendary for the save that gave the Sounders the MLS Cup, finds himself on the wrong side of a 1-0 loss. Lake Stevens beginning to do a little whining. I wonder if there's some cheese to go along with that wine.
We love it.
I can't remember you guys in the Sounders broadcast.
Yeah. Ooh, a long ball wide to Johnny. Johnny with a great touch in the corner. Plays inside to Marco. Marco to Javi. Javi, the little dance move.
Luigi.
Sorry, Luigi. Dakota to Javi.
All 5 of the Lake Stevens defenders there were within about 20 yards of each other within the box. And an effort there by Stamnus, not quite good enough, but boys are getting opportunities. You'll see the Lake Stevens boys walking forward, and they are tight. It's very, very tight.
Definitely not the team that we saw within the first 10 minutes. I think the goal is definitely they're a well-coached team, and they have adjusted tactically to defend that lead. Really a dream start for Lake Stevens.
Oh, absolutely. There's a nice little crowd over there. I'm not sure how many of those are Mount Vernon folk and how many are Lake Stevens. Probably 50-50, give or take. Lake Stevens usually draws well, and Mount Vernon beginning to travel a little bit better too. Just fans enjoying the run that they've had this season.
Looks like there's a substitute ready for Mount Vernon. Coming out is Luigi. Going in is Jorge.
Yeah.
And I kind of like this move. You're taking a player who is a little crafty with his feet and replacing him with more of a bulldog. You know, someone who's gonna give you that little extra energy, and maybe that's what this team needs right now.
There's a rumor going around. That's a truth and a rumor that Jorge on game days doesn't have lunch, just to make himself extra hungry, and that's been obvious the last few games. Last game, in fact, when he got the brace, he was especially hungry. You might wonder if he even had breakfast that morning. He was so hungry in front of the goal. So we'll see if he can bring a little of that magic himself this evening and continue a good run of form that he's had.
Be careful with those hungry analogies. Remember, we are, as school employees, mandatory reporters.
Oh, that's true. Just a troomer.
Just a troomer.
Gosh, I cannot believe that Mariner story. Mariner just continues to be the bugaboo in Mount Vernon's side, even when they're bad. They cause us trouble.
It's just every year, and it's
how annoying.
How annoying. Mount Vernon struggling here to find a sense of rhythm ever since that first goal.
Well done by Pauly, and hits the back of the net. Hopefully,
quarter point, right?
Yeah, hopefully something good to come in the future here in the minutes to come. Just about halfway through our first frame.
You know, it's funny to say this, but you don't often see the short throw down there in this league anymore.
Corner kick, Lake Stevens. Lake Stevens 1, Bulldogs 0. And we'll just zoom in real quickly at that scoreboard.
Really interesting here tactically. Lake Stevens throwing all but 2 defenders into the mix. Really an aggressive move here.
Holly
and
on a Han Solo.
Open to what's happening right now, possibly a counterattack. But Lake Stevens able to stuff that one out.
And great work rate by Andres. You don't see his work rate oftentimes on defense. You don't see it like this coming out, but he works hard all game long. Stamina's down early with a slide. It's always a little bit of a danger when you get both Stamnis and Andres making their way.
The ref calling a really tight game. Just you can see a tension building on both sidelines.
Javi. Andres.
Calmly finding space on the left side. Andreas looking. Oh, great through ball to Javi.
A little stagnant up top. Want to see some movement. Jonathan, Andres. Oh, tough ball. And
oh!
Are you kidding? The skill, the magic, and it's 1-1. Mount Vernon!
An absolutely lofted ball over the top. The skill to turn and hit that on the volley, absolutely amazing. There's not much that a keeper can do there. You come out, you're gonna get chipped if you stay. Oh,
should I go or should I stay? It's a magical song, in fact.
And the game is on. The excitement in the stands is back.
1-1, 19 to go, frame number 1. And obviously the response now from Lake Stevens, do they hunker down again or do they continue to press forward?
Again, super aggressive on Lake Stevens, sending all but 2 defenders forward on the attack.
Yeah, I like the way they're playing.
They have a lot of confidence in their back line, and I like that.
And here comes Jorge. Good hustle. Jonathan closing. Good turn there by Stevens. Edwin, Stamnis. Oh, and a late foul. Referee. Should be I'd be surprised if we didn't see some type of a card. He's certainly going to have a talking to.
Yeah. The referee is going to walk over and say hello.
Go, Ethan!
Ask him about dinner last night and how his day was.
Yeah, making sure his grades are up. All that kind of stuff.
Edwin now with the throw-in on our near side. Trying to find Marco, but the ball sails overhead. Ooh, a little extracurricular activity going on down in the corner. The sevens, the dueling sevens.
It's interesting to see sometimes referees making decisions.
Game has definitely gotten a lot of extra energy within the past 10 minutes. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Pauly with a good clear.
Ooh, a lovely chipped ball. Renee coming out. You know, when Renee comes out like that, it's huge. It's huge. Because with his size, he is just absolutely mobile and covers the whole box, and it's just wonderful to see.
It's good. The referee giving a shout that he's watching, which we always enjoy hearing.
We enjoy watching as well. We could probably be friends. Having troubles with that second switch. You know, it seems like Mount Vernon's getting stuck. It's like flies on sticky paper. They get to one side and just can't wiggle their legs off.
Long ball. Stamnis collecting it. And you can see the Lake Stevens. One of the things that I'm noticing is that they're bypassing their midfield. They're looking to play that long ball in, so to try to get away from having to deal with Dakota. And so then they just play.
definitely, the game has heated up quite a bit.
Yep.
A lot of chippy fouls now showing up in the game.
Both ways.
Both ways. But that's just a result of the boys feeling the urgency now that it is 1-1, that the game is on. It could go either way at this point.
Obviously, the tie in favor of Mount Vernon at this point. They don't want to walk away with a tie. Never do, but that would be enough to give them the number 1. Yes.
No, because the tiebreaker is head-to-head. So
they're up 31-28.
So
yeah, if Glacier Peak were to win tonight, then Mount Vernon.
Ooh! The keeper coming out looks to get his hands on the ball,
So
but
we would go to 32.
those points don't matter.
Sure they do.
No, they don't. That's what Chris said, and they don't.
What do you mean?
Those points don't matter. It's head-to-head.
But we're ahead. We win on points.
No, the points don't matter. They're totally made up. That's what we were told. They're just for the table. They have no significance in impact into seeding for state.
No, I'm not talking about state. I'm talking about the district championship.
Telling you.
The district championship game.
No.
1 or 2.
Have no.
But they would be league champs.
No.
Why would they not be league champs if they have 32 points?
The game's on. Let's do this. Let's talk about this.
I'm so excited about this, though.
Ooh, cross coming in low and outside. Lake Stevens rushing out of the box to see if Mount Vernon can capitalize on the shifting defense.
It's a tough ball.
Yeah, the referee's got an easy call there. A foul's going to happen.
Right.
You can't put a ball in with that much hang time.
Right. Well, at halftime we'll have to discuss that league stuff.
I got some emails I can show you, and they're not leaked emails.
Haha. There's no leaker in this house. Edwin with good defense.
You know, it's interesting. They're really pushing against Edwin. Like it feels like they picked out Edwin, which is confusing. Why Edwin?
Yeah, it's not like there's a weak link in the back 4. I know you're not saying that, but Edwin certainly is not one that you would even really look at as a concern, unless they got wind of a possible injury that he's been battling for a bit. Good little touch there, Jorge, running hard. And that's going to go for a goal throw-in.
Little miscommunication there between the keeper and the sweeper. Keeper initially coming out, but waved off by the sweeper. And
Mount Vernon's going to play this like a corner with a long throw from Edwin.
It's important to note, for those of you not familiar with how that usually works, the player who can see most of the field should have the right of way to the ball. Ooh, a long throw in. Dakota flicking on top of the 18.
Pauly.
Ooh, Polly having troubles bringing it down, but does so. And it looks like Mount Vernon will elect to reset.
Edwin.
Lake Stevens pushing out, creating
Marco.
gaps.
Edwin, or Jonathan.
Oh, Johnny finding Jorge.
And drives it and just a bit wide. It was a good little combination play by all of them.
As a continuing theme in this year's broadcast, I would like to point out that the goalkeeper is taking the goal kick, and we think that is absolutely wonderful.
Classy. It is called a goal kick.
Right, and it is taken from the goal box.
Yeah.
So, though, as a geometry teacher, we could start debating the term box.
It does have 4 sides. Edwin. I do love the symmetry of the box. 18 from each post to the edge and 18 to the top. There's lots of little connections you can make inside that box. Easy to be able to tell how wide a field is, as the box is 44 wide. Just silly little things like that are fun to know. I remember being in 4th grade and doing a soccer paper. Oh, that's a handball, referee. It certainly is. No real intent, but it did change the game.
You know, an interesting question came up to me from my parents, of all people. And something that maybe people don't often think about, but that little quarter circle on top of the penalty area.
Yeah, the D.
The D.
Yeah.
And in basketball, it has a deep meaning, but in soccer, only used as a way to keep people 10 yards away from the penalty mark.
It's very rarely in play.
Ever. And so the question, I just thought I would share it, because when I heard it, I was like, yeah, when do we ever use that arc? But it's only on penalty kicks to measure 10 yards away from the placement of the ball, which the referee right now probably using the arc to help him out there. Very useful tool.
It always helps on these fields too with the football lines. Andres on the ball. Shot.
Ooh.
And the wall did its job.
You know, I actually really like testing on a wall early in the game. You know, keep him honest.
Oh, quick little touch by Marco. Andres still on it, looking to flick it through. And again, such a tight space to get things done. Happened once, and he tried to catch lightning in a box, I suppose, twice.
Ooh, and plowed over. You would think that we were back in the valley and we were on a farm field because that was,
my goodness,
that tractor went right through.
I'm a little surprised we have not seen a caution, given the just the hard nature of some of these tackles.
Makes for a good game, though, doesn't it? It's always good to watch and see that everyone on the field, you know, came to win today, and that's what makes Wesco so much fun.
Yeah, there's no gimmies, as we can attest. Cascade in double overtime, and then take out Kamiak in just a throwdown. That was something. Jaime. Good ball in.
Oh, Dakota finding the ball.
Subius. Oh, Jonathan. Jonathan still on. Andres crossing.
Ooh, far
back
post. Ooh.
And well gathered by the Stevens keeper.
The Stevens keeper has quite the height to him.
Yeah, he's a senior. He's been around for a while and is quite confident.
Dakota again winning the ball from the keeper. Mount Vernon Bulldogs finding space as Lake Stephen goes back to the bunker. Really a well-trained bunker at that. You can really tell when a coach has worked with a team defensively when you see that little three-man wall in front of the three-man back line.
And it's tight again, and it comes. Dakota redirects. Andres, and Andres was pickpocketed. And quickly wanting to get the ball back.
Oh man, I'm starting to cringe every time that ball has some hang time because you just see the fire, even from here, in all the players' eyes. Again, the chippiness of the game is rearing its head.
This sort of game reminds me of Mount Vernon Mariner games in past years, and maybe that's been replaced.
I don't think you can replace Mariner.
Yeah.
That's a different level.
My wife just invited me to a Cinco de Mayo thing tomorrow night, and then another event the next night, and she asked if I wanted to go, and I said, as long as I'm with you. That's always good work, huh?
Ooh, Renee coming up over top. Oh no, Renee coming over top, grabbing the ball, hitting his own defender. The ball popping loose on contact with the ground. And Lake Stevens heads up play, tapping the ball easily into the back of the net.
And the boys seemed a little asleep there as that came down. Renee, a little bit.
It looked like Renee's chest came right down on the defender's head. The boys here just got to pick up their head and get back into it. There's a lot of game left. 7 minutes in the first half, but we still got a full second half left in this game.
Only the second time Mount Vernon has given up 2 in a game. And you can see down below Amador getting up off the bench just to see if that's something he might need to be prepared for. And with 33 gone, we're again in a hole, 2-1. Ball into Javi. Andres. Jaime.
Again, Lake Stephen defense, even when they bunker, leave small gaps. And it's like a W. where the gaps are. And if Mount Vernon can find those pockets, they're going to have success. But struggling a little bit to move that ball left to right and find those pockets.
A little action down below as Danny gets up. Monaco and Ian. Jonathan. Andres. Through balls on. Foul. Nothing called. Dakota. Andres. Javi. Preferred left foot. Dakota.
Ooh,
Jesus.
great run by Jesus, but can't find him in the corner. Dakota, though, with a second opportunity, taking it himself to the corner, finds himself surrounded. Ooh. You got to think that Dakota there tripped on the ball, but the referee giving a foul for that. I'm puzzled.
Well, the Lake Stevens coaching staff just about lost their minds. They had a better angle than we did. Looks like he's going to give a drop ball, changing his mind. Which you appreciate that the referee talks to his AR. I mean, that's what you have an AR for.
That's how it should be. Yeah. Doesn't look like
Dakota winning the ball.
Yeah, that's going to happen. The referee making a mistake and not wanting to change the course of the game from the mistake, calls an easy call out of the back.
Yeah. Jesus into Andres. Stevens trying to possess. Jaime in a cluster.
Ooh, and the counter's on, but shut down by Pauly. Well done.
Pauly far from the ball.
Ooh, and a nice throw-in. I like the sense of urgency. Ooh, Andreas trying to dance a little bit. Prom's over. That was last weekend.
Yeah, it's a good ball. Edwin with a change, and Lake Stevens is dangerous, and they've shown that already with 2 in the first half, and a win at Mount Vernon last week or several weeks back. So we're in a battle.
Oh,
good
beautiful
ball
ball outside to Johnny. You got Marco in the middle, running a little. Ooh, Johnny electing to shoot it. That's a hard shot. That's a hard shot. Cutting into the middle, and you're off balance there.
Brought it onto his preferred foot and tried to get a screamer into the upper right-hand corner and just wasn't able to get quite a hold of that one. Sun has set, so it's no longer an issue for Renee. You wonder if that had anything to do earlier with those high balls coming through. Dakota. Nice touch. Jaime with a wonderful touch.
Oh, absolutely beautiful touch. Yeah. He makes it look so easy.
He does. Jonathan.
Oh, beautiful turn by Johnny. Johnny heads up looking for support. He's going to shoot it down the line to Jorge. Jorge struggling, but a Mount Vernon throw.
Edwin. And a good switch. Jesus is on. Jesus wanting to get forward. Little touch in on unlucky. Just a little bit off for Andres. And we're just down to about 2 minutes left in this half. Not a lot of injury time, I would not imagine. Andres in the middle of the park. Jaime. Pauly. Edwin. Edwin. Jaime.
Mount Vernon a little bit on their heels right now.
It's not quite as fluid and easy as it was on Tuesday night. A little gesture from the Lake Stevens player to our manager after that ball gave a little ping off of them. Jorge battles well. Andres. Need a switch here. It's tight. There's the switch. Good ball. Marco. Javi. Or Jorge to Javi. Javi using his body, has Jesus to help. He elects to come back across. Edwin is on.
Oh,
There it
Edwin,
is.
lovely use of space right
Well
there.
played. There's a through ball. Leaves
Oh,
it to Jesus. Great
And it's
ball.
good all the way through. This is
Oh.
dangerous here. A little dancing, breaks to the sideline, and he brings it back.
Oh. And obviously the AR has a fantastic view of that, but it's the whole ball. Whole ball. Lights are beginning to take effect, as well as the frogs in the little retaining pond behind us. Signs of spring. Referee has indicated an extra minute of time to be added here at the end of the first half. Johnny. Javi's pace can always get there, it seems. Jorge staying alive. Still gets there.
What?
Your AR said it was in.
Oh, the AR said it was in. Oh, man. Unlucky turn of events there from Mount Vernon. It seemed like the AR had said that
He
gestured
waved.
that the ball was
He
in, but
did.
the referee overruling the AR as he can. And we have a goal kick for Lake Stevens, which is promptly played to Andreas, who knocks it back into the corner. Well, going into halftime, Lake Stevens has got to be pretty happy.
Oh, they have got to be tickled. Senior night, last home game for them. With this result holding, they would host a first round of districts.
Mount Vernon, on the other hand, though, is going to have to really make sure they come out in the second half, and
Edwin well read.
they have to move the ball and find the gaps that their players are in, because they're there. But just getting our head up, being aware of around the field, a lot of game left.
And with that, your Lake Stevens Vikings lead the Mount Vernon
So
Bulldogs
here we are at
2-1.
halftime. It is
Be sure to
Lake
find out
Stevens 2, Mount Vernon 1. We will be joining you back in about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.